In today's episode, we have daily news from Europe. 3 topics today. We'll spend 2 minutes on each because we value your time. Ursula von der Leyen is once again at the center of scandal. Germans are furious about electric vehicle plans. The trade war between the EU and US is heating up. Trump threatens 30% tariffs from August 1st. And technological rebellion, from Britain to Italy, countries are rising up against global rules. We'll discuss all of this now. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This is important for developing this daily European news channel, and even more important for you, so you won't miss the most crucial news tomorrow and in the future. Even if today's topics seem ordinary, tomorrow something could happen that changes your entire life, and you'll be among the first to know. Now to the topic of rebellion against Ursula von der Leyen. A real political fire is erupting in Germany. The European Commission under Ursula von der Leyen plans to allow rental companies to buy only electric vehicles starting from 2030. It sounds like environmental care, but in reality, it's exploding the German automotive industry. Germany's Christian Democratic Union accused von der Leyen in an open letter of being completely detached from reality. They call it a blow to entrepreneurial freedom and warn of catastrophe for the automotive industry. Manuel Hagel, head of the CDU branch in Baden-Württemberg, wrote a harsh message to von der Leyen. Chancellor Friedrich Merz also spoke against technological narrowing and reminded that the automotive industry is one of Europe's key sectors. In rural areas, there's still no necessary charging infrastructure, and there are other ways to reduce emissions: synthetic fuel and improving internal combustion engines. But Brussels seems determined to push ahead, regardless. The automotive sector employs millions across Germany and represents the backbone of their economy. These companies have invested billions in research and development over decades. Now they face potential devastation from bureaucratic decisions made in distant Brussels offices. The timing couldn't be worse, as Germany already struggles with economic challenges and rising energy costs. This policy threatens not just companies, but entire communities dependent on automotive manufacturing. Workers fear for their jobs while shareholders watch stock prices plummet on uncertainty. This is a classic story of European bureaucracy. They make decisions in offices and then wonder why people rebel. Ursula von der Leyen once again demonstrates an amazing ability to turn her own allies against her. The Germans are right. The automotive industry isn't just business, it's Germany's national pride. Mercedes, BMW, Audi, these brands were built over decades, and now they want to force them into technological frameworks for dubious environmental goals. It's especially funny to hear about environmental care from people who fly private jets all over Europe. But ordinary Germans must drive only electric cars that lose half their charge in winter and might explode from overheating in summer. And where will they charge in villages, where internet works intermittently? This decision shows how far Brussels bureaucrats are from real life. They create problems where none existed and call it progress. No wonder even people in von der Leyen's own party are starting to doubt her competence. The hypocrisy is staggering when climate warriors preach to working families while living in luxury. Electric vehicles remain expensive toys for the wealthy elite, not practical solutions for regular people. Rural communities lack basic infrastructure yet face mandates from urban technocrats who've never lived outside major cities. This top-down approach ignores regional differences and economic realities facing millions of Europeans who can't afford these green fantasies. Now to the topic of trade war with America. Donald Trump is once again showing who's boss in international relations. From August 1st, he's imposing 30% tariffs on all goods from the European Union if the sides don't conclude a trade agreement before the deadline. This is already the 4th visit by EU Trade Commissioner Maroš Šefčovič to Washington, but there's no meaningful result yet despite intensive negotiations. France urges Brussels to take a tough stance and not make concessions to American pressure. Germany, on the contrary, is ready to give in to Trump just to avoid a devastating trade war that would cripple their export-dependent economy. Chancellor Merz understands that 30% tariffs would be a catastrophic blow to the heart of German exports, particularly in automotive and manufacturing sectors. French President Emmanuel Macron is urgently flying to Berlin to coordinate positions with the Germans and present a united European front, but time is running critically short with the August deadline approaching fast. The European Union has already prepared comprehensive countermeasures worth €72 billion, including strategic tariffs on American goods, ranging from soybeans to Boeing aircraft. Trump threatens in response to raise tariffs to 50%, escalating the conflict further. This represents a classic trade war spiral where all parties ultimately lose, consumers pay higher prices, and global economic stability suffers significantly. Trump is doing exactly what he promised American voters, putting America first in all international dealings. And Europe is trying to play by old diplomatic rules when the world has fundamentally changed under his presidency. The French want to save face and not look weak before their domestic audience, but they don't understand one simple thing. They have virtually no economic leverage over America in this confrontation. The Germans understand this harsh reality and are ready to pay tribute just to maintain crucial access to the massive American market. But what's the real price of these humiliating concessions for European dignity and sovereignty? If Europe agrees to these enslaving conditions, it will effectively become an economic vassal of the United States for generations. And if it refuses and stands firm, it gets a devastating trade war that will finish off the already weakening European economy struggling with multiple crises. Trump plays hard, but entirely predictably. He's fundamentally a businessman who only understands the cold language of strength and immediate profit margins. European politicians still naively think everything can be solved with beautiful diplomatic speeches and traditional negotiation protocols. Time will ultimately show who's strategically right, but so far America is successfully dictating harsh terms while Europe painfully chooses between bad and extremely bad options for its future. Why? Now to the topic of technological resistance across European nations. In Britain, the Labour government is launching an advanced facial recognition system to systematically check migrants' ages and prevent fraud. Artificial intelligence will catch adults deliberately pretending to be children to manipulate the asylum system for personal advantage. The thing is, unaccompanied minors are significantly more likely to be granted asylum and receive generous benefits than adults in similar circumstances. And there are serious suspicions that many people deliberately give false ages to dramatically increase their chances of successful applications. Adult men arrive on boats but fraudulently register as vulnerable teenagers in official documents submitted to authorities. Currently, Home Office staff make these crucial decisions based solely on visual appearance and behavioral assessment, but experts agree that's completely insufficient for accurate determination. Meanwhile, in Italy, Giorgia Meloni's government made a fierce objection to controversial new changes in the World Health Organization's international health regulations that would restrict national sovereignty. Italy's health minister sent a strongly worded letter to WHO Director General expressing complete disagreement with proposed amendments. Italy believes these new rules would lead to completely unacceptable restrictions on fundamental national sovereignty in critical healthcare decision-making. The amendments specifically require member states to automatically comply with WHO guidelines in case of any pandemic-related emergency situation declared by the organization. Here we see genuine common sense finally awakening after years of COVID-related madness and governmental overreach. The British finally decided to properly check who's actually coming to their country instead of naively taking people at their word without verification. Adult men dishonestly calling themselves children isn't a minor administrative matter, it's systematic fraud against the entire state system and taxpayers, and it's excellent that modern technology helps expose this deliberate deception that costs millions. But the Italy story is even more fascinating and significant for European sovereignty. Meloni courageously shows that national sovereignty must always be more important than unelected international organizations seeking power. But who desperately wants the legal right to dictate to sovereign countries exactly how to act during future pandemics without democratic oversight, but who actually gives this corrupt organization such extraordinary rights over free nations and their citizens. Italians correctly understand the dangerous precedent. If you agree to these authoritarian rules now, next time WHO can easily force border closures, devastating lockdowns, or mandatory medical interventions against people's will. This represents a direct path to tyrannical world government operating through manufactured medical emergencies designed to control populations. And it's encouraging that not only Italy but also the United States, Israel, Argentina, and Austria boldly rejected these totalitarian changes to international law. Marco Rubio directly stated the proposed changes deliberately open dangerous possibilities for systematic manipulation, state propaganda, and complete censorship of dissenting voices. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This is important for developing this daily European news channel, and even more important for you, so you won't miss the most crucial news tomorrow and in the future.